Hi, I'm Tom. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a cis white gay man with salt and pepper hair and pink glasses, and I have a big yellow scarf today. So I'm back with another guided creative exercise to help you practice self-reflection. This time, we're going to focus on doodling. So get out some paper and a pen or a pencil or crayons, markers, gel pens, whatever you want to use. And if you're not able to doodle right now, you can simply listen and think about what I'm saying. So as I guide you through the exercise, you can visualize your responses in your mind's eye without doodling. But I highly recommend doodling along with me because it's fun and it'll help your brain relax and just allow you to focus. So before we get started, I'd like to set a couple of intentions. First, you're here to be with yourself. You're here to get a sense of what's going on in your inner world. And I invite you to observe your thoughts with curiosity and care and without judgment or pressure to change how you think. If you feel like you don't have the capacity for this kind of contemplative space right now, that's okay. There's a lot going on right now. So if this isn't for you today, I invite you to opt out. There's no shame or judgment for stepping away. You can just pause the video, take a break from your screen, and just be with yourself in whatever way you need right now. And of course, you're welcome to come back and join me whenever you're ready. So I'll give you a second to decide if you really want to be here today. The second intention I'd like to set is this is a distraction-free zone, and it is very important to me to set that boundary. If you can, I invite you to silence your mobile device, turn on Do Not Disturb if you have that option, or you can put your phone in a separate room, really create some physical distance from it. Put away any other devices or projects or to-do lists that might be competing for your attention. Resist the temptation to check your social media. Resist the urgency to respond to texts or other notifications right away. You're here right now with yourself, and that's all that matters. There's nowhere else you need to be right now. If you feel like you can't fully separate yourself from your external world for the next 20, 30 minutes, I gently encourage you to investigate that. What do you feel like you need to be doing? Where is that sense of urgency coming from? What's demanding your attention, pulling you in 1,000 different directions? And if you truly can't be here right now, that's okay. This video is going to end up being about 30 minutes and half an hour, and that can feel like a lot of time to give up. And that's perfectly valid, so don't judge yourself for that. Just pause the video, step away from this activity, and go tend to whatever else needs your attention. I'll still be here. You're welcome to come back whenever you're ready and when you have the time and the capacity to be fully present. Okay, thank you for your patience as I set those intentions. We can begin the activity now. So for this self-reflection practice, I will guide you through some doodles to help you focus on yourself. There are 3 prompts, and we'll spend about 5 minutes on each one. For each prompt, you can doodle to your heart's content. You can incorporate words into your doodle. You can just journal along if you want instead of doodling. And again, if you are not able to doodle or journal right now, you can simply listen. And as I guide you through the exercise, you can visualize your responses in your mind's eye without putting it down on paper. So now's your chance to get situated. Pause the video, go get your materials, bring out your paper and your pens or crayons, markers, colored pencils, whatever you feel like using to doodle right now. And we can begin. Let's spend the first couple minutes here just easing into a space of self-reflection. So take a deep breath in, breathe into your belly, diaphragm, rib cage fully expanding, really open up your chest. And as you exhale, Allow your shoulders to fall away from your ears. Just let the air fall away. Keep breathing deeply like this for the next couple of breaths. And as you do, turn your attention inward. Allow yourself to focus on your body. Notice any points of contact your body is making with the chair, or the sofa, or the bed that you're sitting on. Notice any points of tension in your body. Maybe do a quick scan from head to toes. And gently relax any muscles that you're not using right now. Relax your brow, unclench your jaw, let your shoulders relax. Keep your belly nice and loose so it can expand fully on each breath. And notice your mood. What thoughts and feelings are at the surface as you tune in here? Maybe you feel happy or sad or anxious. Do you feel well rested, or are you a little tired? Maybe your thoughts are racing, or maybe you're a blank slate. Whatever it is, just notice it. There is no right or wrong way to be right now. Whatever you're feeling, just acknowledge it. Allow it to be here with us. And return your attention to your breath. So take a couple more deep breaths. As you inhale, feel the air coming in through your nostrils, down the back of your throat, into your lungs, filling up your lungs all the way. And as you exhale, feel the breath spread throughout your body, carrying life to every single part of you. Feel the breath settle into your cells. And you can let your breathing return to a normal pace, a normal, natural pace, whatever that looks like for you. Now, shifting your focus to the paper in front of you, let's start by drawing a line. This line is the ground. So you can add grass if you want to. You can add some hills in the background. But we're going to be growing a little garden here. So if you want a more complex doodle, feel free to draw a flower box instead. Or plot out a shape for your garden. Really tap into your landscaping creativity here. Maybe add some stones around the edge or a fence, whatever you want. But we can keep it simple by just drawing a straight line for the ground. It doesn't need to be fancy. And once we have our ground or our garden bed, whatever we decided to doodle, draw a flower, just a single flower. It can look like whatever you want it to look like. It can be a real flower, like a rose or a daffodil or a sunflower. It can be a made-up flower out of your own imagination. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to look realistic. And this flower represents your strength, one of your strengths, one of your talents. So think about some of the things that you possess and pick one of them. It can be a hard skill or a soft skill. What are some of your dominant characteristics? Are you kind, confident, easygoing, practical? And once you have this flower, draw more flowers. Draw a bunch of flowers, and each flower represents one of your strengths, one of your talents. Each flower represents one of your characteristics. And your flowers can also represent the resources that you have. So what do you have to offer? What can you share? What do you have to give? It can be time, money, emotional support. So keep drawing flowers. Each one can be different, or you can draw the same type of flower over and over again, whatever you want. And as you fill your garden, check in with your capacity right now. What do you have to offer in this present moment? And you might find that you only have one flower or a couple of flowers. Maybe you have a whole garden. So take another 3 minutes drawing flowers. And as you doodle, you can add details as you wish. Maybe you draw some bees buzzing around, some ants crawling along on the ground. Maybe you add in a squirrel or some trees in the background. Let's take another 2.5 minutes here, just thinking about the things that you have to offer. And I want you to draw one more flower, squeeze in one more flower, and this is a special flower. This flower represents something you feel like you have that maybe you haven't shared with many people, something within you that's precious to you. Or maybe it's something you know to be true about yourself, but isn't necessarily the first thing that comes to mind. For example, maybe you don't identify as a funny person, but you still have a sense of humor within you. Or maybe you don't think of yourself as being a very sentimental person, but you know there's some sort of sensitivity within you. Or maybe this special flower is a skill that you want to develop, something you want to start practicing more. So give that some thought as you continue doodling. Don't forget to breathe. Roll your shoulders, roll your neck. Take another minute here, and then we'll move on to the next prompt. And throughout the next couple of prompts, there will be moments of silence where I won't be guiding you. I encourage you to lean into that silence. Allow it to lead you to your inner knowing, your inner truth. And since my voice just cracked, I'm going to take a sip of hot water. A great reminder to stay hydrated throughout this exercise. So wrap up your flowers, finish your doodles on the ground that we started, and we're going to move on to the next prompt. So above your flowers, draw a circle in the sky. And this circle is the sun. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle or a complete circle. And from this sun, we're going to draw rays of light shooting out from the circle. I chose to draw some straight lines, just a simple classic sun. But as you respond to the prompt, you may want to write words instead of lines. So each line could be a word. You could circle the sun with a bunch of different words. Whatever you want. You can add spikes as a ray. But as you are doodling your sun, think about the people that you're closest to. your friends, your family, whether that's chosen family or biological family, your coworkers. When you think about the people you're closest to, what do you appreciate about them? And the characteristics that come to mind are the rays of sun. So maybe the people in your life are generous, loving. Maybe they give you good advice. When you need support with something, who do you turn to? Why do you turn to that person or those people? What about that person or those people feels supportive to you? What do they have to offer you? So we started on the ground in our flower bed, thinking about the things that we offer. And now we're thinking about the things that we get from other people, our communities. How does your community fill your cup? So all of these things are spiraling out from your sun. All of these things that you're thinking about, all of the support that you love to receive, those are the sun's rays. Those are beams of light. Take another 3 minutes on this prompt. And again, feel free to add more details to your doodle. Maybe you can add some birds in the sky. Maybe there's a plane flying overhead. Maybe there are some balloons randomly floating around. Be creative. Some sparkles, some fireworks, I don't know. So as you're doodling in the sky here, you're thinking about your relationships, your community. And I want to remind you that relationships are give and take. And it's okay to acknowledge what you need to take. In fact, it's necessary. Understanding what you need will help prepare you to ask for it. And that understanding has to come from within you. It's not someone else's responsibility to know what you need automatically. That's something you need to know about yourself and be very clear about it. You're probably going to get the most out of your relationships if you're honest about the value that they bring to your life. Let's take another 1.5 minutes here to think about that. I know at first it can feel selfish to think about what we need from people, but it's not selfish. It's actually a gorgeous way of caring for yourself and your community. So take another minute here to wrap up your thoughts on what you need from others. What supports are important to you? Don't forget to breathe. Breathe into your belly, letting your rib cage fully expand. Open up your chest. Let the breath fall away. Just let it go. All right, wrap up your thoughts on the sun here, and we'll move on to the final prompt. So near the sun in the sky, draw a couple clouds. Or you can draw a watering can or a hose. But we're looking for a source of water here. And we're going to doodle some water droplets falling onto our flowers. And as we did with the sun, you can just draw straight lines falling down to represent the water. Or you can turn each one of those water droplets into a word and just doodle a bunch of words falling from the clouds. Or you can draw actual rain droplets, like those, the tear shape coming down. And the water that's falling onto the flowers represents the things that we need from ourselves. So we just talked about the things that we need from others, the support that we get from our community. But what is the support that we can give to ourselves? Your garden needs nourishment from many different angles, and one of those is from within you. So how do you take care of yourself? How do you rejuvenate yourself? Physically, mentally, spiritually? There are so many different modalities for caring for yourself, and it can look like so many different things to different people. Everyone's going to have a different combination of things that they can offer to themselves. Maybe you like to exercise. Maybe you like to take naps. Sleeping is such a beautiful way to recover, to care for yourself. Maybe you like to listen to music. Maybe music helps you feel at ease, helps you focus, centers you. Maybe you're a good cook, or maybe you like cooking. Preparing food for yourself is such an important way to care for yourself. Let's take another 3 minutes here. Letting the water fall down onto your garden. And the water is your self-care practices, your soul care practices. And you don't have to be currently practicing these things. Imagine new ways to care for yourself. Think about the possibility of caring for yourself. Maybe there are some new things that you want to try or do more of. This can definitely be aspirational if you want it to be. A reminder of the options that are available to you. And the ways we care for ourselves don't have to be tangible. You can care for yourself by listening to yourself, by affirming yourself, by speaking kindly to yourself. You can care for yourself by being present, having grace and patience with yourself. We've got a little bit more than a minute left on this prompt. Again, feel free to let your mind wander and continue adding details to your doodle. Now that we have some water falling from the sky, maybe you want to add a rainbow, some butterflies. Maybe there are some worms popping up from the earth. Maybe you draw some stick figures. Draw yourself, draw your community. Having fun in your own garden, relaxing in your own garden, enjoying your own garden. Let's take another 15 seconds and then we'll wrap up. As this activity comes to a close, take some deep breaths. All right. So we've been contemplating ourselves for the past 20 minutes here, 20 plus minutes, really getting intimate with our inner worlds. So let's take some time to come back to the surface a little bit. So I invite you to take some more deep breaths, breathing into your belly, diaphragm, ribcage expanding fully. And as you exhale, just let the air gently fall away, just releasing your breath with ease. Roll your shoulders, move your body a little bit, wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe do some arm circles, roll your neck. Notice the space around you, take in any sights or sounds in your environment. And just return to your physical being, your physical space. So you've just completed a wonderful, loving self-reflection. I'm so proud of you for showing up today. You really did it. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a hug. Say thank you. Thank yourself for being here. And now you have a pretty clear picture in front of you. You've helped yourself understand what you need, what you have to offer. And I want you to keep in mind that this image is the most true right here, right now. It's going to change. Your needs and your strengths will evolve and transform over time. Your needs and strengths will also be impacted by external circumstances. You might have a different garden for each one of your relationships. You might even have a different garden for each day. Every day you wake up, maybe your garden looks different. Your garden might change based on what's happening in the world, or how much sleep you got the night before, or how often you exercise. So many things can impact what your garden looks like. So it's important to practice this way of checking in with yourself. Get used to asking yourself, okay, what do I need in this moment? And what do I have to give? Feel free to return to this video as often as you need to help you practice this kind of self-assessment, this inventory. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to tap into it when you're out in the real world, interacting with people day to day. And that's going to help strengthen your relationships. The last message I'd like to leave you with is this. Everybody has a garden. Everyone has an ecosystem of flowers and sunshine and rain. Everyone's garden may look different, but we all have one, and that's the common ground that we have. That's what we all share. We all have a garden. And because we all have different strengths and different needs, it's so important to communicate those. As I said before, people can't read your mind. Sometimes you have to ask for what you need, and that's okay. We can rely on each other. Your flowers might be someone else's sun, and someone else's flowers might be your sun. You might actually be surprised by who can be your sun. So keep your heart and your mind open. As always, when you transition back to your life, decide what you want to take with you. You've shown up for yourself in these past 20 to 30 minutes. Now be intentional about how you want to show up for the world around you. And if you're the type of person that likes homework, if you like practical next steps, here's an assignment for you. Think about that special flower that you drew, the last flower that you drew. That special thing inside you that gently asks you for a little more attention today. Whatever that was, nurture it. As you go about your day, keep an eye out for opportunities to practice that special skill or that particular characteristic. Let it soak up a little extra light and water in the coming weeks. Look at the things around your sun, the support that you want and need. Which of those things will help that special flower grow? And your expert level homework is to practice seeking that out. Turn to one person in your life who you know can offer that to you and invite them to share it with you. Also look at the water droplets you drew. The water that you have falling onto your garden, your self-care practices. Which of those things will help your special flower grow? Try giving that to yourself. See how it feels. And then come back and let me know how it goes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am grateful for the ways in which you choose to show up for yourself. It might feel silly, it might feel simple, but I promise it makes a difference. So please keep showing up. I love you. Peace be with you. Take care.